So the Rebbe said that you should know that you come as a Jew, you have unbelievable genetics within you. Because there is nobody who has a better strength gene, determination gene, perseverance gene, fighting back gene than a Jewish child. You have 3,300 years of Jews putting up with everything and fighting through, not giving up. So the Rebbe said that you should be confident as a Jew that you have unbelievable strength, and this is what we're built to do. It's not easy being a light unto the nations. It's not being God's chosen people. It's not easy. Sometimes the world wants to take you down, and there's two. One response is you just give up. One response is you say, "Listen, it's just not going to work. Let's just lay low until better times come." But the Jewish answer is always just push forward. There's no giving up. You push forward. It's like just like soldiers in the army. It's not that you're callous. It's not that you're indifferent. It's just there's no other way through it. So l'chaim, dear friends, I do want to dedicate tonight's class. Number one, to all the Kedoshim that we don't even know all of them who they are. But I want to read their names out loud right now. We should dedicate tonight's Torah learning to these holy souls who've given up their lives al kiddush Hashem, sanctifying the name of God. Any Jew who is killed as a Jew is called a Kaddish, a holy soul. The holiest of holies, these souls, giving up their lives as a Jew. And, usually in Judaism we say that their neshama should have an aliyah, which means their souls should have an ascent. We're doing this mitzvah for them and their souls should go up, but these souls have nowhere higher to go. These are the holiest of the holy. So I want to read their names. These are the souls who have perished in the attack. Number one, the Chabad rabbi in Sydney, Harav Feivel Eliezer ben Binyamin Halevi Schlenger, Yaakov ben Tzvi Halevi Levitan, Reuven ben Emmanuel Morrison, Moshe Aaron ben Yosef, Matilda B. Britvan, Dan El-Kayam, Alex Claytman, Peter Meager, Marika Pogani, Boris Telleroyd, Tibor Weitzen, Hashem Yinkim Damam. We don't know the rest of the names. And those who still need a refuah shalema. Those who still are in the hospital recovering, who are injured in the attack. Arsen ben Zoya, Chaimushka Bashar Nasara, Doiv ber ben Talia, Elon ben Ira, Elon ben Shimshon, Geffen ben Esther, Levi Zev ben Elisheva Rachel, Moshe ben Binyamin, Moshe Yonason ben Sipera, Shoshana Basmina, Toiba Bas Vega, Yaakov ben Ethel, Yaakov Yisrael ben Sarah, Yaakov Doiv ben Penina, they right here, that's urgent, Yehuda Lei ben Manya, Yonason ben Sipera, Yosef ben Shtarnasada. And I'll share with you here, I don't know if you could see it, there was a 21-year-old boy who, he's from Texas. His parents were in the Chabad at the university. What's it called? A&M? That was called Texas A&M. Texas A&M. And he was volunteering for the year to be at the Kabbalah of Sydney. He was there helping the rabbi with the event. He was shot. He took off his shirt to apply pressure like a tourniquet for one of the police officers who got shot before him, and he got shot as well. He was in critical condition. He just woke up, but he had terrible internal damage. I just want to share with you a picture. His father just shared this on social media today. Him putting on tefillin in the hospital, and it's even a miracle that he's even responsive and alive. It just he got multiple gunshot wounds. This little boy.
Is this the doctor?
No. He was just a yeshiva boy. Just a yeshiva boy. I just want to share one other thing. I want to light the menorah, dear friends.
Okay.
Jewish law says, so lighting the menorah, every Jew should do at their own home. The mitzvah is to do it at home. It's a home mitzvah. It's not a synagogue mitzvah. It's a family mitzvah to light the menorah. But when Jews gather together, you light it also as part of the celebration. So I want to light the menorah, and I want all of you to join along with me for the blessings. And then we're going to get going for today's class.
Is this the Farbrengen?
A Farbrengen? We could make it a Farbrengen.
Can we light it home?
Yeah, for sure. Not only you could, you must.
No, when we light it home, is there a certain time is it supposed to be like Shabbat, like during a certain window?
No, it's much more flexible.
Okay.
From dusk, from sundown.
Okay.
Anytime from sundown.
Thank you.
From when it starts getting dark outside. All right, dear friends, feel free to join along with me. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim avoteinu, bayamim ha'hem b'zman hazeh. Feel free to join along. If you know the words, or just hum along. Ma'osor Yeshuati L'chano El Shabeya Tikon Beit Tefilati V'sham Toda Nizabeya L'yeis Tachin Man Beya Mitzor Hamna Beya Azegmor Beshir Mizmor Chanukah Mizbeya Azegmor Beshir Mizmor Chanukah Mizbeya. So I want to share with you, dear friends. Come on in, Mark. You want a donut?
Okay.
Okay, you may. Okay, very, very good. All right, so dear friend, I just want to share with you. In retrospect, if you look at the story of Hanukkah, you will actually realize the Maccabees were not considered heroes. They were considered a bunch of crazies. You have the Greek, you have the Syrian Greek, a nation. They took over. They took over. They weren't saying we want to kill Jews, by the way. It was a spiritual battle. They did not want dead Jews. They weren't the Nazis. They said, we love the Jews. We appreciate your culture. We appreciate your heritage. We appreciate everything about you. You guys are brilliant. We love you guys. But on our terms. Meaning like this. You can't be religious. We are modern. We're progressive. We're not beheld to old systems. We are open-minded. And so if you guys are with us, that this is going to be the new age of Greek philosophy, this is what's in. Old religions are out. If you're with us, you're good. If not, that doesn't happen under the Greek territory. The amazing thing is the Greeks were actually extremely effective. They took over the Holy Temple. They converted the Holy Temple into a Greek temple for the god Jupiter, and they actually had a very big following of Jews. Jews who said, "Listen, what do you want us to do?" At some point, when the Greeks saw that the carrot wasn't working, they used a stick, and they said, "Okay, any Jew who studies Torah, they're being put to death. Any teacher of Torah is being put to death. Any Jew who circumcises their son is being put to death. Anybody who keeps Shabbos being put to death." They went after mitzvahs that were irrational and were all about, not about logic, but mitzvahs that were all about our connection with Hashem, our connection with God. That's what drove the Greeks crazy. The Greeks said, "You want to study Torah? Yeah, we love ancient wisdoms, but don't make it holy." They hated holiness. The whole concept of the purity of something that is beyond description, something spiritual. That's what they were against. It was a war on Jewish spirituality. on the holiness of the Jewish people, on the holiness of the Torah. So they wanted Jewish children, but Jewish children who are educated the way we want them to get educated. Right? So on and so forth. The Maccabees was a very small group of Jews, led by a senior Jew. His name was Matisyahu. He was a Kohen from the Hashmonai family. There we go, from Mark's family. Don't take it personal, Mark. But the Kohanim were not considered. If you had to choose Jewish warriors, you wouldn't choose the Kohanim. They were the spiritual leaders. Like we had a little bit of a.
It's good to be king.
We had a little bit of an electrical problem with our big menorah in Shane Park. One of the electrical features stopped working, so I had to call an electrician, and he was great. He spent 3 hours yesterday diagnosing the problem. We had to order a new part, overnight it. Today was another 2 hours. This is what happens the day of a rabbi. You gotta deal with electrical. I became professional in electrical transformers. You know about this stuff? What kind of transformers, what transformers do, voltage in, voltage out. All right, wonderful. Anyways, so it's a big 12-foot menorah, and usually it's like a whole schlep. You take it up, take it down. It's not easy installing it. And this guy comes, a young electrician, takes the whole thing himself, lifts it up, and I'm like, this is why I'm not in that line of work, So anyways, so you have these Kohanim, not the people who are, designed to be holding heavy weaponry and they just say, it's not that Jews fight for ourselves, it's we're fighting for holiness. We're fighting for, not only for the Jewish people, but for the spark of Judaism. They were considered crazy. I don't even think if they had in their own minds any sense that they're going to be successful. I don't think so. But it just came from this inner conviction that a Jew doesn't give up. We can't just say no to this. We don't just give up. And that's self-sacrifice. And by the way, the Maccabees, it came at a very big price. It wasn't all roses. A lot of Jews got killed in the wars. A lot of the Maccabees gave up their lives fighting for the Jewish people. It wasn't easy. A lot of the Maccabee brothers, almost all of them died, at some point during the struggles. So they did win, but it wasn't easy. But most importantly, it wasn't either popular. Most Jews looked at them and said, "You guys are nuts. This is a kamikaze mission over here. You're giving up your lives to fight the Greeks? Fight the Greeks? What's wrong with you?" But this was a Jewish spirit. You never give in to the darkness. You can never allow darkness to define who you are. Just today, the video was going around. A TV station in Australia, I don't know which one, interviewed a woman who's a Chabad shlucha, the female counterpart of the shluchim. She was there at the event. Her daughter was injured in the shooting, and anyways, she's describing in this interview that she comes home and they have a menorah in front of their house, and it's lit because Hanukkah. And she brings her boys home. These boys just survived a shooting attack, a terrorist attack, and the boys start crying, "Mommy, turn off the lights of the menorah." And she says, "No, we can't do that." And the boys are crying that they're going to come after us, they're going to shoot us, you can't make us a target. And she's crying as she's saying this. And she says, "Listen, okay, as a mother, I'll shut it off so they could go to sleep tonight." Anyway, she says, the next day, their Christian neighbor comes over. She wasn't home, her husband was home. She was in the hospital with her daughter. And the Christian neighbor comes in and says that our young daughter, drove by the house today and came in crying. That look, they turned off their menorah. They're giving up. This Christian girl was crying that look, the Jews feel that they can't celebrate over here. And the Christian neighbor came in asking, you guys can't do this. You guys can't give up. You can't let this. So if Hanukkah teaches us anything, it's this thing. That, there's dark times, but there's no question about it. The Jewish spirit is that with all the pain, we push forward. There's no other way. And I want to just share one other thought. Yesterday, Mushki was actually speaking, with a woman who's a child of Holocaust survivors. And she told Mushki something very, very interesting. She said that her parents, Holocaust survivors, told her, don't go visit the Holocaust museums. That's for the non-Jews. The non-Jews need to go to museums and see how bad oppression is and anti-Semitism is. They need to see that. You need to celebrate Hanukkah, light a menorah, celebrate the holidays. That's what Yiddishkeit is for you. It can't be. Mushka was just telling me, maybe some of you saw this. There's a Facebook group here called Jewish Moms of Detroit, something like that. And there was a post there. You know about this post? I did not see it. Where a mom posted that she's discovering that her children feel no active connection to the Jewish people, to Judaism, no excitement, no passion. It's all about how everybody hates us on October 7th. Judaism can't be about, what's our Judaism about? Oh, how everybody hates us. We have to, everybody has to know that it's not fair. And we have to go, and this guy's an anti-Semite, and that guy's an anti-Semite, and we have to go to this politician. Yeah, there are people that need to fight that fight. But that can't be, for the Jewish people, for us, for our families, that's not what defines Judaism. What defines Judaism is that Judaism is a joy, that we live it, that we breathe it, we celebrate it. So, I don't know if you saw my car in the parking lot, and when it's off, you can't really properly see it. You saw the menorah on top of the car? So, you saw that?
Yeah.
So, when you go outside, I'll put it on for you.
I saw you on Telegraph.
You saw me on Telegraph, so you see it lights up beautifully.
I said that's Rabbi, but he's like, why is he over there? He wants to be over
Yeah.
there.
Oh, you saw? No, because that's the trick. It's easier if you go further down Telegraph. Turn around further down,
Right.
and then you can do lane by lane instead of trying to, which is crazy. All right,
So I saw you, yes.
Right.
you saw me.
Yeah.
So I told my kids, it's right after the attack happened that day, I went online, and I said, okay, we got to do something, and I want my kids to see that this is the way we respond, this is the way we move forward. I right away ordered this thing online. I paid for overnight shipping to get it Tuesday morning, because I'll ship it out Monday, get it Tuesday morning. And I told the kids that there's more darkness, we're going to push forward with even more strength, with even more light. So we're going to drive, and driving itself is going to make another Jew proud, make another Jew remember that they have to light the menorah today, and that, most importantly, they shouldn't be afraid, they shouldn't be scared. There was a woman who's a neighbor of ours, lives a few doors down. One time we were walking on Shabbos afternoon with the kids. So when we do walks on Shabbos afternoon, what I do is, I tell the kids that the game is you have to go look through the houses and find where there's a mezuzah. And when there's a mezuzah, I embarrass them by going and knocking on the door. Because, we have to be walking by. Anyways, so one time we did that. We actually met a neighbor. There's a Jewish family, lives a few doors down from us. She told us, this was after October 7th, she told us that after October 7th, and seeing just what type of terrible response there was in the world against Jews, she wanted to take down her mezuzah. And then she said, she realized that we weren't taking down the menorah right in front of our house. So she's like, okay, if they're comfortable having the menorah in front of their house, we could have the mezuzah on our door. So you never know. See, that's another lesson from the Hanukkah menorah. It's incremental steps. Usually we love seeing the big changes. I want to see the whole world change. I'll tell you something very interesting. The first time they lit menorah in front of the White House with a big menorah was in 1978. It was on the ellipse. They installed a big menorah, like 30 feet high, really nice big menorah. And for the first year that they established the menorah, President Jimmy Carter came out. It was his first public appearance since the Iranian hostage crisis. First public appearance was to go out to the public menorah lighting. So he didn't want to go up on the big lift to go 30 feet high, so he lit like a small menorah on the stage. A nice, beautiful menorah, but not a massive one. Okay. It wasn't the last night of Hanukkah, so it was maybe like a night like this, 4 candles. He shows up, and they honored him with lighting the shamish, the central candle. But he sees only 4 candles there. So he turns to the rabbi, whose name is Rabbi Avram Shem Tov. It's Mushki's great uncle. And he says, what's going on over here? Why are there only 4 candles or 3 candles? So he explained to the president that the way the holiday works is that you slowly add a candle each night. And the president's like, I don't know, the optics, it just looks weird. You're lighting a menorah, he says, Rabbi, it's the White House. Light the whole menorah. Let's make this look nice over here. Anyways, the rabbi was intimidated, and he went ahead and they lit the whole menorah. Anyways, this rabbi shared himself that afterwards, the Rebbe was actually not so happy with it, and the Rebbe told him, I expected more from you. I expected better of you. Where's your spine? Jewish pride. You're going to have, the president of the free world, the leader of the free world is going to tell you how to celebrate your holidays? Yeah, there has to be a certain strength. I'm sorry, this is how we do it. If you want to go in your own bedroom and light your own menorah, you can do that, but, there has to be a certain inner pride. A Jew can't be so flimsy. It's that whole attitude, right? Jews can't be so intimidated. There has to be a certain inner pride. It's unshakable. Anyways, Zeb was not, I expected more of you. It's very powerful that Hanukkah, we don't go and start lighting the whole menorah. Night number 1, whole menorah. It's a very powerful message. Light is an incremental process. Don't underestimate one little move. Some people, they want all 8 lights. Let's make everything good, okay, overnight. Never works that way. It's a very important message. One good move, one little move, one more mitzvah in your life, one good thing you could share with another Jew. One tiny little thing. You never know. That's what the menorah teaches. One step at a time. But that's how we add light. So dear friends, that's a farbrengen. A farbrengen is unscripted. Should be, warm, passionate. But a farbrengen is also not a speech. It's
have to be 10 that have to be in minions.
No. Farbrengens are highly informal. The more formal, the less of a farbrengen it is.
Okay.
So, okay. Anyways, dear friends, that is a little introduction. So, l'chaim, dear friends, with all the pain, it's a good reminder that we still pray every single day for Mashiach to come. Life is not where it's meant to be. There's still tremendous suffering in the world. There's tremendous hate in the world. And there's more work to do. We're still, we had a young family visiting us. Somehow we got into the thing that we're still in a time that's called in Hebrew Golus. It's a phase of Jewish history called Golus, exile. We're still in exile. There was a Babylonian exile. There was the Egyptian exile. We had to go through the Greeks. We had to go through every single... And their 12-year-old daughter was shocked. We're in exile? I'm like, yeah, we're still in exile. We were in Israel. We had our own holy temple, and we're still wandering through the world. We're still wandering through this exile. Only God knows, almost 2,000 years. We're still under what's considered the exile of Rome. The real truth, if you think about it, the Western world is all the continuation of Rome. We're still considered an exile. And part of exile is that they're suffering. They're still suffering. So dear friends, we still have more work to do. We have to take the message of Hanukkah to heart. We got to add lights every single day. L'chaim. That we should do that. Okay, so I want to also encourage all of you. Tomorrow, we're going to be having, we host Chabad of Bloomfield Hills every single year, the public menorah lighting in downtown Birmingham in Shane Park. 5 o'clock p.m. in Shane Park, we're going to light the menorah. We're going to celebrate as a community, publicly, proudly. And I want to encourage all of you, in addition to lighting the menorah, in your own homes, to come out and celebrate with the community, especially if you have not been to a public menorah lighting this year yet, as what was targeted in Bondi Beach, a public menorah lighting. All right, dear friends, let us get going over here. First of all, this is the last class of this course. In the late January, in a little bit over a month, we're going to be starting our next big course titled Captivating Cases of Rabbinic Responsa. Listen in on the surprising practical questions your ancestors asked rabbis across Jewish history. And I want to tell you what this word means, rabbinic responsa. Rabbinic responsa is the official title for letters that sages wrote in response to real-life questions of Jewish practice, ethics, and law asked by everyday people across Jewish history. So this is going to be a fascinating course, journeying through all of Jewish history, touring through every geographic point where the Jewish people visited across past 3,000 years. And we're going to see how Judaism evolved with boots on the ground through looking at the dilemmas that Jewish people faced, both on the global level, communal level, as well as deeply personal. So, here's just a little sampling. We're going to be going through 30 dilemmas ordinary Jews face across the ages. 1866 Poland, 17 Jews are imprisoned after a blood libel. who must pay their ransom. 1380 Valencia, buying up, this is great, buying up half the seats in the synagogue and then charging rent. Is that even legal? Anybody? Look at this, a good business guy, 1380. 1866 Poland. There's a weird new breed of chicken. Is it even kosher? 2003 Florida. I'm heading to outer space. When do I keep Shabbos? 1450 Spain. How can I celebrate Passover without tipping off the Inquisition? 1944 Auschwitz. Can I ransom my son if another will be killed in his place? This is an unbelievable course. You're going to see the lab where Judaism happens, blossoms, and is defined over the past 3,000 years. Unbelievable course that I had the honor of working on last year. So I was on the editorial board of it, and I can't wait. So stay tuned. We got a big course coming up. And with that, let's begin tonight's class. I mean something, therefore I am. Dear friends, I want to begin in our books, page 157. There's a very interesting exercise over here, page 167.
Which is it?
157, not 167, sorry. Page 157, thank you. You're a detail man, huh?
What do you expect from me?
The accountant didn't catch it, because he didn't have his hot chocolate, okay.
This is too late. I'm used to the daytime.
You could sleep, don't worry. I charge more if you fall asleep. We charge more for that service. All right, page 157. Who are you? Describe yourself. Which means like this. We are all used to the idea of introducing ourselves and how we present ourselves to other people. So you bump into somebody on the airplane. You bump somebody in the elevator. What's your elevator pitch? How are you describing yourself to somebody else, somebody who you meet? What's your go-to answer? How you define yourself? How you describe yourself? I'm not going to ask you for your answer. This is just for you to just get it out of your system. Ideally, write it down. If you don't want to write it down, you don't have to write it down. But at least I want you to mentally identify what that answer is. So it just happened to me last week. I was on the airplane, and sometimes you sit down on the airplane. Some people are very, very talkative. They want to talk to you. Some people don't want to. So I was flying out to Minnesota last week. All right, last week Tuesday. Remember that? Yeah, I wrote to you in the email that. All right, so I sit next to a woman, and she really, really wants to talk. Okay, no problem. I'm like half-half. Like I'm very open to it, but I'm not either like the person who's like begging you to talk. But she wanted to speak, so she wanted to hear all about myself. She had a lot of questions. A Christian girl from South Dakota. I don't think ever met a Jew before, so she had a lot of questions about rabbi, Jewish people. Interesting, no? Okay, so in any case, so how do you define yourself? Now here's the thing, dear friends. Generally speaking, especially in today's world, yes.
Whoever's had the Cadillac Lyric, lights are still on.
Thank you. All right. My sister-in-law's car, I'm driving it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
See, this is why we need a good security guard over here. All right.
So funny because it's not like I just figured out.
I do that all day.
Look
Sorry.
out the window and
I'm gonna
make
use
sure.
fancy buttons and
There you go.
shut it off.
How did you know that's the right side?
All right. And generally speaking, we define ourselves by what we do. Right? What's my job? You just say, yeah, all right. You got it, yeah. What's our job? What are our accomplishments? What do we do on a daily basis? That's usually how we define ourselves, especially to other people. What are you, a fan? I'm a Lions fan. I mean, it's not only to other people, it's even a little bit to ourselves. So we define ourselves a little bit by what we do. What do we do? And the social environment we put into very highly affects our identity for ourselves. Which is not a problem, So if you're a Lions fan, you identify very strongly with fellow Lion fans. You feel a certain camaraderie with them. And if you're a doctor, I'm a doctor. I had a guy in my house. for a Shabbos dinner. He was like in his upper 80s, not Joel, because Joel's only in his upper 60s over here. But he tells me that he's a certain kind of surgeon, like a very high level surgeon. So I said, well, wow, how often do you do the surgery? She's like, oh, no, I haven't done this for over 30 years. But this is what I am. Like, what do you mean? It's been 30 years. This is my identity. So in today's world, people identify themselves very much with who I am, which is now, what I want to point out, it's not a problem, but I just want to point out what it is. It's a layer that begins on your very external, it's very external, it's very superficial. I learned to trade. I am here. Then I learned to trade, and I ended up getting this kind of job, and and I live in Detroit, so I follow the Lions, and not that. Okay. And then that becomes a very strong form of identity. But these are all what we'll call added layers, external layers. These are extrinsic to your identity. There is me, and then there's all these other layers. Now, why is this very, very important? This is very, very important for today's big topic. The final, and perhaps the most important topic in a Kabbalah of Meaning course is not just the meaning of our lives and how do I make a day filled with meaning, but the meaning of my own very identity. People desperately want to feel that they are a meaningful existence in creation. I meaningfully exist. Now, if you look at a tiny speck of sand, a tiny speck of dust, so if it's the only piece of dust that's under a microscope in a lab that some scientist is studying, it's a highly significant, right? Oh, we're honing in on this. But if it's a tiny little piece, and you zoom out, it's on the ground, it's on a beach, and you zoom out, you don't even see that piece of it. You zoom out even more, you don't even see the beach anymore. You zoom out even more, the whole world is a little dot. You don't even see the world. Even the galaxy is a whole big dot. So what could this tiny little speck actually, doesn't matter. That becomes a very big existential question. Philosophically, we shouldn't matter any more than a speck of dust on Mars. Does a speck of dust on Mars matter? It exists. It maybe has a purpose within its ecosystem, but in the large scheme of things, it's just... So is there actually... So this sense, people want to feel on some level, I just need to know that I matter somehow. And the word for this in psychology is mattering. I like that word. Mattering. People really want to feel that their life is a life that is mattering. Okay, I'm not using that properly. Wrong sentence structure there. But okay, in any case, let's read text number 1. Text number 1, and Eric, since you're about to fall asleep over here, we got to keep you on your toes. Eric's going to be reading all the text tonight. All right, Eric, text 1, page 158.
Think about the first time you realized you mattered. What happened? How did you feel? Chances are your moment of mattering impacted and moved you. Most likely you felt important because of what someone else said or did. Feeling significant is a basic human desire and a critical factor for mental, emotional, and physical well-being in life, school, and work. So what is mattering? Why is mattering so important? And how can we learn to create the experience of mattering for others? Researchers find mattering is the feeling that we're a significant part of the world around us. It's a belief that we're noticed, important, and needed right now. While studies show experiencing mattering increases a sense of self-worth and motivation, research also finds it reduces the risk of severe depression, anxiety, and can save lives.
Oh, wow. This is very important, right? People needn't feel they matter. If somebody feels they don't matter, it's terrible. It's really, really terrible. Especially young people, right? Severe depression, anxiety. This is right. This is right.
Suicide.
Yeah, this is terrible. People feel that they don't matter to anybody. People need to feel that they matter. Okay. Now, so this is what I want to talk about today. But I want to point out it's not an issue. It's not a problem. I mean, it's not that there's a problem over here, but I want to point out a certain blind spot in the way Western thinking works that we all operate within. We're all susceptible to this. And why it actually hurts our mattering. I think it's especially in Western society. you call it peer pressure, but I think it's, it doesn't even have to be crude peer pressure. There's an idea that we generally define ourselves by the way we are defined by our environment. How do people think about me? What do people think about me? That's going to be my sense of self-worth. So this guy, he's very proud that he's some kind of serious surgeon. Didn't do it in over 30 years, right? But he's very proud of it. Because when he tells other people, they're going to think he's a big guy. Oh, now I know I'm a big guy. It's not enough that he knows that I did this. I need other people to know it's like that. I could know that this is my standing in this community. People have to know this is who I am. And generally speaking, we get a sense of mattering from other people. If other people like me and look up to me and think highly of me, then I know I matter. Now, by the way, just people think relationships are very important for love. I actually think that the main component and the main need of relationships and why relationships are so critical in life is because of this. A person needs to know that I matter to somebody. So marriage does that. Having a family does that. Having children does that. On a personal level, I have 5 children and counting. K'nai hara, but God willing, stay tuned for, God willing, good news on the way. Right? Is this news to anybody, by the way? Okay, any day I could be called right now. We got to go right now. Not really, but yeah. All right. It's a very powerful thing. Relationships, family, friends give you a strong sense that I matter to reality, to existence. Okay. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that other people give us our sense of self-worth and self-esteem. It's part of that as well, self-esteem. But here's the problem. That also makes our whole critical mattering, our critical self-esteem that we desperately need in order to even feel like a human being, that means we don't hold the keys to it. Everybody else holds the keys to it, but not me. It's a little bit scary. It's very vulnerable, which is why, as a human being, the way the human psyche works is that if somebody slights me, if somebody offends us, what happens? It hurts a lot, right? We take it very personal. Think about it. Who cares? Just another guy, whatever. We tell ourselves that, but it still hurts. Why? Because everybody else gets to make our own self-esteem. And we don't even really have our own self-esteem. My whole self-esteem is your esteem of me. So therefore, it's a terrible attack on my self-esteem if a person who I need for my self-esteem is hurting my self-esteem. So there's a very, very big challenge over here that self-esteem basically begins outside of you and is not internal at all. That's basically the way it works. Maybe in human psychology, maybe it's only Western society, I don't know. But that's conventionally how it goes. Other people define for us our worth, our value, our meaning in life. Now again, I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. It's a good thing that you have people in this world that give you a very strong sense of that I matter, and there are people that need you in this world. It's a very good thing. But if that's all that there is, it's a very dangerous place to be in. Very, very vulnerable. What I want to teach you today is really only one point. Judaism gives us a very powerful and a radical idea, but in a certain way it's very, very core to Judaism. What I'm going to teach you right now is something which, it's not just a random another little teaching somewhere in the big books of Judaism. This is something which really Judaism cares a lot about, which is that number one value of a person is inherent, is categorical, cannot change, cannot be taken away. You were born with it. So I want to explore this with you. What Judaism is going to teach us about a sense of mattering is we need to look at it from a very spiritual lens. And this needs to be the base of the way we look at ourselves. And by the way, if we look at ourselves differently, we're going to look at other people differently. There's a big rule in Jewish spirituality, in Kabbalah. Chassidus speaks about this a lot. We look at other people the way you look at yourself. That's the way it looks. We judge other people the way we judge ourselves. Whatever your image of yourself is, you project with the exact same kind of portfolio every other person you see. If we become more spiritually inclined, we see ourselves differently, we automatically look at other people differently. So this class, we're talking about ourselves, but it's everybody. This changes everything. This is a new way of looking at humanity as a whole. You ready? Let's begin with the story in the Talmud. Eric, no, I'm just kidding. Joel, text 2, page 160. This is a story from the Talmud. It's a shocking story, but... No. He's kidding. Joel.
No.
Don't do it.
Once Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, was returning from Migdal Gidor, from the home of his teacher. Riding along the riverbank on his donkey, he was feeling proud and content. He had just completed a significant stretch of Torah study. Along the way, he encountered a man who was unusually unattractive. The man greeted him respectfully. "Peace be on you, my master." But Rabbi Elazar did not return the greeting. Instead, he said, "Worthless man, how ugly you are. Are all the people of your town as hideous as you?" The man replied, "I don't know, but you should go to the craftsman who made me and tell him, how ugly is the vessel you have found." At once, Rabbi Elazar realized how wrong he had been. He climbed down from his donkey, bowed before the man, and said, "You've spoken rightly. I admit my mistake. Please forgive me."
Okay. Now, it's a crazy story because what's going on with Rabbi Elazar over here? Rabbi Elazar, by the way, he's a great man. He's the son of the greatest sage who lived in his times, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who's celebrated on Lag BaOmer, the life of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He wasn't just another dude. I'm saying he's a big deal. Great sage. Walking around talking to people this way, it's like vulgar.
Yeah.
First of all, it's also bad business. Right? You want to be a rabbi, you want to be a man of influence, don't walk around telling people that they look ugly. But just like, it's so inappropriate. What are you doing? You're going to judge a person by the way they look? It feels so superficial. You're going to look at another human being, oh, you're so ugly. Like, who even talks that way? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are people that can talk that way, but hopefully we expect more from Rabbi Elazar. So this is a big question over here. All the sages want to try to understand what's going on with Rabbi Elazar. Some say that perhaps he wasn't speaking about physical ugliness. He was speaking about spiritual. He saw this person was spiritually and morally ugly, corrupted, and he wanted a little bit put him in his place a little bit. So he said, what does this mean? What does this mean that a Jew is so low morally? It's not for now. We'll deal with Rabbi Elazar as part of the dialogue for another class. But what I want to focus on right now is the response of this man. He doesn't go and say, "No, Rabbi, you have to know, I'm actually a very good person. I have very, very good redeeming character traits. Don't worry, I'm not so bad as you think." Now, there's a story that a guy, a fundraiser, goes to a very wealthy man. He says, "We're raising money for our organization. Can you give a donation?" This guy starts yelling back at him. He says, "What chutzpah you have? Do you know my parents are very, very ill and they have unbelievable medical bills and Do you know how much pressure I'm under?" "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know that." "Do you know my sister? She broke her leg and she's this and a family to feed. How much pressure I'm under with my sister's family and my kids, and my wife." Going on about all. And it's funny, he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He says, "And if I don't help them out, you think I'm going to help you out?" All right. How true, huh? I don't know how funny it is, right? Maybe it's not so funny after all. He doesn't go and start saying about all of his other traits. Instead, he says a very, very powerful response, which is perhaps why the Talmud tells us the story. "Why are you complaining to me? If you have a problem with how ugly I look, go to the craftsman who made me." Which means, there's one thing to say, look at somebody else and say, "You're worthless." But God made me. How could you say that something that God made is worthless? Simply this core value. Now, Rabbi Elazar, to his credit, right away retracts and apologizes to the person and says, "You're right." But number one is this idea. Looking at ourselves from a spiritual lens is, I don't look at myself based on what I've accomplished. The number one thing is God made me. God put me here. And if God put me here, then, like we learned the last week, everything is made with purpose. That's number one. God put me here. You can't look at yourself. You can't look at another human being as somebody who's worthless or doesn't have meaning. And maybe if they could do something, then they'll have meaning in life. Number one thing, there's meaning. Why? Because God made you. Okay. Let's tease this out a little bit more. What is our meaning? And what's this idea that there's meaning that is beyond anything circumstantial? So, I could say there's a lot of meaning to a key. There's a key sitting in a drawer. No one knows what it's for. But this key unlocks a treasure. Is the key meaningful? Is it a meaningful key? It carries within it a tremendous value. People aren't using it. It hasn't yet actualized its value, but it has tremendous value. So that's one level of speaking about it. That it was made with, or somebody makes a satellite. It's supposed to go into orbit and be of tremendous value to humanity. But it didn't go yet into orbit. It's sitting in a hangar. Is it a valuable thing? Does it have value? Is it meaningful?
No.
Why not?
It's not doing anything.
Yeah, but it was created for something.
Well, it was created, but it's not
It
doing
will do
anything.
something, but it will. It will. So meaning, right? You can't treat it like a piece of wood that's not carved into anything. That has no real value to it yet. No, it already has value, but it goes much deeper. It goes much, much deeper. Let's read text number 3 from the Mishnah, from our sages, from the ethics of our fathers. Perkei Avot. Gail, let's do text number 3, page 161.
Human beings are beloved because they were created in the image of God. They're even more beloved because God let them know that they were created in His image. As it says, in the image of God, He made the human being.
Human beings are beloved because they were created in the image of God. And this is what it says in the Torah. The Torah tells us that every human being was created in the image of God. And God showed us that He loves us, not just Jews, all of humanity, even more because He told us in the Torah we were created in His image. Now, we could do a whole class just in this itself. What does it mean that we're created in the image of God? Is that what it is? God's a big human, and I'm a mini human, and we're created in His image. Right? Some people read this verse in the Torah, and it trips them over because they go, "Oh, does it mean God has an image?" All right, so don't worry, right? In general, it's a good thing to know. Any great Jewish question you have, you're not the first one. There's 2,000 years of literature on this. Welcome to the conversation. Please take a seat. It's like, don't worry. You're not living in your own darkness. There's such a wealth, and you can learn about it from the perspective of Jewish philosophy. You can learn it from the perspective of Jewish spirituality, of Kabbalah. It's one of the beauties of Judaism. Get involved. If you have a good question, something makes you wonder something. It's a great opportunity. You weren't the first one. Take a seat with Maimonides. Take a seat with the greatest thinkers and scholars, the holy people who've developed the Torah, teased it out, gave us access to it. In any case, so what does it mean we're created in the image of God? There's a lot of layers of meaning to it. And it's one of those statements you can't really understand without studying Kabbalah. What does it mean God is an image? Of course, it's a metaphorical idea, but there's something very real. It's not just a metaphor. The basic idea is that there's a God-like quality that humans have that nothing else in creation has. God created cows. God created trees. God created birds. Humans are special, which is everything else is a creation of God. Humans are creations with an imprint of God within them. They carry the imprint of God. Kabbalah teaches something very powerful about that. What's God's value? Let's get a little bit deep for a second over here. What's God's value? Is God's value an intrinsic value? Or is it a value that came because God accomplished something? Which one is it?
Intrinsic.
Joel says it's intrinsic. Which means like this. Let me ask it another way. If you would have a coffee date with God, you say, God, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living? What's your day job? Tell me something great, right? Who are you? Is he going to say, I created heaven and earth? he going to say that? Is that where his value comes from? Is God defined as creator? In other words, did creation make God greater? Or was God just as great as before creation? And creation doesn't mean anything to God. In the sense that it didn't make him greater, it didn't make him less, nothing.
You tell us.
You tell us. But I first want to make sure you understand the question. In Judaism, questions sometimes are even more important than the answers. Understand the question. Questions have to be appreciated. Then we can move on to answers.
We don't really know.
That's okay, but I want you to think about it. Okay. Text number 4. Text number 4. Mark, text number 4, page 162.
Unaffected by creation. God's essence and being are not defined by the worlds in any way, not even as the one who transcends and fills them. For the essence of godliness is not that the worlds were created by him or received their life force from him. As it is written, Siddur morning prayers, you are the same before the world was created and after it was created, completely unchanged. Had he not created the worlds, it would have made no difference to him whatsoever.
Creation to God's value means nothing. That's a very, very deep idea, that basically you have to appreciate that there's the God that's beyond creation. So there's a certain paradox over here. God is infinitely involved in creation, but he's not bound by creation. He's also great beyond creation. To the point that even all of creation, he's like totally unaffected by it. I don't want to get stuck in the theology over here, but it's actually a very, very powerful idea to appreciate. That God chooses to invest himself in creation, but he's not bound by it, the way we get bound by things. But also we get deeply affected by things. Creation doesn't affect God in any way. His value is independent. So comes along Kabbalah and says, you know what it means that as a human being you were created in the image of God? What it means is that everything else, I don't know, God created for a purpose. Could you say that it has infinite, independent value in and of itself? It exists. That's it. There's nothing more you could do over here. A human being has that. Being created in the image of God means that the value is absolutely intrinsic. There's nothing you could do to make it stronger. There's nothing you could do to make it weaker. And God wants us to know that. The way we look at ourselves, the way we look at another human being has to be, it's not let me see, let me think, let me determine, is this person of value to this world? They exist. They merely exist. It's already a precious thing. Here is something that carries this infinite value of God here in this world. Text number 5, page 163. Where are we holding?
Me?
Go for it, Lisa.
Just real quick though, last night I was with your mother-in-law at a Hanukkah party, and she gave, we had a Hanukkah little gift exchange, and it was a small little gift exchange, and she gave a book, and the book was called All the Things That God Can't Do or Can't Accomplish. Do you know what I'm talking about?
She just gave it to us tonight. Yeah, she came over.
I didn't tell you, and you open it, and we're like, oh, this is so great, and we're all looking at it, and she's like, no, open it. So we open it, and obviously all the pages are empty.
No, but you saw the table of contents of the book? There's a table of contents.
And it says what?
Problems God can't solve, people that God can't stop from dying. It's like 10 things.
And every page is empty.
Every chapter is just empty pages. It's cute. It's it's.
Okay.
Yeah, text 5.
Human beings are beloved, even more beloved. Every thinking person must take this to heart. Rabbi Akiva did not mention these expressions of love just to praise humanity, but to awaken a person, to help them recognize that they are a significant being in the eyes of the one who spoke and brought the world into existence. For this reason, we must be especially careful to protect their own dignity, for that dignity is the dignity of their Creator, who formed them in his image and likeness. To degrade oneself is to degrade him.
This is the number one thing. Being a human means you have to appreciate this thing. The value is something which is intrinsic. Okay, so let's recap this in the slides. Our value does not come from anything that we do. That's not the real value. Rather, we matter because God made us with intent and purpose, and then we added to that we're created in the image of God. Okay, I'm not going to get to what all these things mean over here. And the big idea that Kabbalah teaches is just as God's value is independent, we need to know that our value is the exact same way. Judaism goes, and let's take this even further. When God created the world, we're not talking about God as a creator. So look, when God created the world, there is a very, very, very peculiar thing that happens in creation. God says, let there be trees, and the earth is covered with trees. God says, let there be fish, lots of fish. Let there be animals, let there be cows, lots of cows. Birds, lots of birds. Let there be a human, and what happens? One human being. One little human being. Okay, and then we discover that one human being can't reproduce. Okay, emergency surgery, we'll make a woman. Okay, all right, now we could reproduce. Now, it's a very interesting thing. God's making everything in the plural. Everything. And not just the plural, just in flocks. It exists. Species. God doesn't create a human species. God creates a human. Why is that? Our sages asked it. Why did God make it that way? Just, let there be humans. Let there be, Earth is covered in humans. There's so our sages really dedicate time to this question. In the Mishnah, this is one of their answers. One of the insights that they say, this is what God, the message God was sending to humanity. Yulia, text 6. And don't worry, I'm going to give you the next text as well.
Oh, sure. Because Adam was created as a single person, every individual is required to say, the world was created just for me.
Just look at these words. Required to say. The Hebrew wording over here is chayav, which is the Hebrew word we use for a legal requirement. Like you must. A human being must say, the world was created just for me. Think about Adam. Adam, God created humanity. God communicates to him that you are the choicest of my creations. You were given free choice. You were the only one that I created to actually be the developer of my earth, of my planet. You have to protect it and develop it. He looks around. There's nobody else. How much weight do you feel on your shoulders? Can you doubt the value of your existence if you're Adam? Can you get lazy and say, whatever, somebody else will pick up the slack? It's not that important. I don't need to be the one to be doing this. You can't think that way. The buck stops by me. If not me, there's nobody. If God made humanity, I'm it. I'm the whole humanity. There's nobody else here. There's a lot of pressure there. So our sages say every single human being has to think that way. Which means you have to know that humanity was never created in the plural. We're not mass produced. There's no assembly line and lots of humans are created at once. Every human being is created one by God. Individual inherent value. So our sages are telling us it's not a narcissistic statement. The world was created just for me. Everything's for me. Everything's for me. Not that. It's saying, no, I have unbelievable responsibility. God created me with such immense power, and God wants me to feel that way. Okay. What is something in our lives? Let's put this up over here. Every person has this personal, individual value, and therefore we have to say the world was created just for me. And as the local friendship circle coined it, I matter. I matter. That is not something which you develop. It's not something which you earn. Oh, I did this and this and this and this. Now I know that I matter. No. I'm born. I exist. I'm breathing. I matter. What is a paradigm that we could relate to that brings out what exactly this means and this difference between earned value and intrinsic value? So what Judaism tells us is the imagery that we should be thinking of. And if we want to think about how does God think about me, use the imagery of a child. It's a very interesting thing. Once a child is already older, as you know, I'm talking from the perspective of a young dad. You know, my oldest is 8, going on 9. You know, almost 9 years old. All right, so young children. As they get older, their talents are coming out more. Their personality are coming out more. They can start, gaining achievements. They do well in school. They do well here. They do well there. They have this talent and that talent. So there's lots to be proud of, right? But what about the moment the child is born? The moment your child is born. And you love them. What are you loving? What do you love about them? What do you love about them? They didn't do anything. No accomplishments. You literally have this tiny, helpless, talentless little baby, naked little baby. They don't even look like anything. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like a dad line to say. On my family chat, Baruch Hashem, Kanai and Hara, my parents have 8 children. 7 out of 8 of us are married. My youngest sister isn't, but everybody else. And Kenai and her, we're all the right age. That we are. The family is growing. It's like last Shabbos, my sister just had a baby. This Shabbos we'll be traveling to her to be there for the bris. But on a good year, there's a few babies in the family. 1, 2, 3. So it's like, how's it work? So you post in the family chat on WhatsApp a picture of the baby, and everybody says, "Oh, it looks so much like dad. Looks so much like the mom." And my brother-in-law always writes back, "It looks just like a baby." Well, come on, stop fooling yourself. Looks like somebody. Yeah, it looks like a baby. He looks like a baby. What are you loving about this child? You don't even know anything about this child. Nothing. You're loving them? What are you loving them about? In a certain way, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. The value that a parent sees in a child has nothing to do with accomplishments. It's the core value that you exist. The core value that you exist.
That the baby exists or that you?
That the baby exists. Here's a piece of me. I love you. Why? There's no why. How does God look at us? This is why in the Torah there's a very, very strong emphasis that when the prophets are speaking to the Jewish people, they want to hammer this home. How does God look at you? With the love of a child. Take a look at text 9a, Yulia. Text 9a. From one of the prophets, page 166.
When Israel was a child, I loved him, and from Egypt I called my son.
Let's do this next text. This is a very, very deep insight. Yulia as well. Text 9b, page 167.
Father's love for an older child who has developed intellect and refined character may not come solely from the fact that this is the father's child. It may also be the child is wise, well-mannered, or respectful, and that love is reason. But a father's love for a young child is different. It's not about what the child does or doesn't do. It's an essential love, because they are one. Father and child are of one essence. With an older child, though this essential bond remains, the love that stems from observable qualities can sometimes overshadow it. The essential love is always there. It's just not always on display.
It's actually interesting. Sometimes, as our children get older, the love for their accomplishments starts sometimes overshadowing the core love that's there. And this becomes a very dangerous thing, right? You never want your child to think that you're judging them and you're liking them based on accomplishments. For me, I consider this one of the most important values that I hope to give to my children, that their value is because they're a soul that God placed here on earth. And also their job, if I'm lucky, I get nachas from my children. But their job is not to give me nachas. A child's job is not to work for their parents, the opposite. Parents work for God gave me this special soul as a trust to take care of. There was a
Don't tell
dad.
my daughter that.
There was I'm telling you, I don't care what she thinks, I'm going to tell you. There was a father who came once to the Rebbe, and he confided in the Rebbe that he has anger issues. He comes home and he's tired and he's overwhelmed. He has little kids at home and they misbehave, and he really lashes out at them. And he feels horrible when he's doing it, but he can't help himself. And he asked the Rebbe for some advice. And the Rebbe said, you should meditate regularly, contemplate regularly. But these are God's children. And God has given them to you as a trust to take care of. You have a responsibility to God. They're not your children, they're God's children. So you have to think, how does God want me to raise his children? And the Rebbe said, you're automatically going to be treating your children differently if you think that way. So our children have to know that. Our children have to know that God created you. You are tremendous. Your whole value is that you have a soul. My job is to try to be the best custodian for this precious soul and to help give this child the tools, the health, the attitudes to help unleash the power of this soul. But the soul doesn't owe me anything, the opposite. I'm the one who owes it to God to take care of this child. Intrinsic value. How does God look at a human being? How does God look at me? So if I wake up one day and I don't know if I matter, I don't know. I'm doubting if I matter. I'm doubting my value. Judaism says, no, you have to remember, how does God look at you? You exist. That is your value. We don't earn our value. It's something which we have contained within us. That's number one. I'll put that up over here. To God we matter, and this has to be the core, the way we look at ourselves, and also the way we look at other people. And not only to God we matter, but what our sages are telling us is, God wants us to know it. It's very important. This is a truth that we hold within ourselves. This is truth number one for tonight. How are we doing? Doing okay? Okay. I want to now get into part two for tonight, which is like this. If I matter, and if there's nothing I could do to make me matter more, why do more? Why do anything if I already matter? Why accomplish anything if I'm good already? What do they say? They say, practice makes perfect, but nobody's perfect. So why practice? You ever heard that one? Is it too late at night for that line? Let's do it again. They say practice makes perfect. Nobody's perfect. So why even practice? If I'm already perfect, well, I don't need. Well, that's it. Okay, let me just go to sleep. I didn't do anything. I don't need to earn my right for anything. I'm already good. Or another way to put this is, if I'm already perfect, why should I want to do anything more to try to be more perfect? I'm already perfect. And over here, Judaism flips on its head the whole way we look at our obligations as a human being and our obligations as a Jew. I hate it. I personally, it ticks me off when somebody tells this to me. When somebody tells me, Rabbi, I'm a bad Jew. I don't know if I'd be wealthy, but I'd have a lot of dimes in my bank account if I got a dime every single time someone told this to me. Oh, Rabbi, no, I'm not a good Jew. I don't do this, I don't do that. I'm a bad Jew. And it's very antithetical to the whole philosophy, the whole way that Judaism, especially Hasidus, teaches us to look at it, to look at ourselves, look at another Jew. Do we do things in order to become good? Is it that if I do all these things, then I'm good? If I don't do these things, I'm not good. I'm a bad Jew. Is that what it is? Judaism says no. Flip the whole script. You're reading it backwards. You're understanding it backwards. I'll explain it to you. Let's take an example from the British royal family. British royal family is, you're born into royalty, not by choice, but you're born into this family, and you have certain expectations. You are royalty. Royalty is running through your veins, and therefore you need to act differently. Now, I want to read to you, just in case any of you get married to the royal family, I want to tell you right now how the royal family needs to behave. Number one, royals must dress formally. No sweatpants or t-shirts. All right. Number two, this is very important. You got to drink tea. And when you drink tea out of a teacup, you got to hold the teacup properly. The thumb and the index finger have to be placed perfectly. And you got to curl your pinky in the exact way. To practice the pinky curl. No public displays of affection. No political opinions. No physical contact beyond handshakes with any non-royals. No autographs for selfies. No nicknames. For royal women, hats by day and tiaras by night if you're married. Okay. Here's my question for you. Do they follow these rules in order to make themselves royal? Or is it that they're royal, so therefore they hold themselves to a special standard? Right? I'm not doing anything to make myself royal. The opposite. If I'm royal already, I'm already royal. If I'm not royal, you could follow all these rules, and it won't make you royal. You hold the teacup this way, it didn't make you more royal. Walk around with a tiara at night, right? You're not becoming more royal, right? Either you have it or you don't. So why are you doing it then? You're actually doing it to help express what you've got inside of you already. Great status with importance. Yes, it's a big privilege. It's also a responsibility. You represent something. So you wear it. You behave the part. Not because if you don't behave it, you're not it. Or you're bad. Or you don't have the value of it. No, I'm already it. So I act a certain way. Judaism says the whole way, especially the way Torah tells a Jew how we should act, the values of a Jew, the do's and the don'ts of being a Jew. It's not God trying to harass us, give us a bunch of do's and don'ts. be controlling. And it's not that, oh, if you want to be a good person, if you want salvation, you got to do these things, or else. No, it's something so much more beautiful. You represent God. You're God's child. This is the way, the best way to express your divinity, your greatness. I want to read a few texts with you. These are unbelievable texts from Judaism. Are we up to you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Text 11, page 170. Go for it. Text 11. We're skipping a little bit over here.
Okay, the mitzvah of self-care. A kind person benefits their own soul. Proverbs 11:17. This refers to Hillel the elder. When Hillel would part ways with his students, he would continue walking with them. They once asked him, "Rabbi, where are you going?" He replied, "To fulfill a mitzvah." "What mitzvah?" they asked. "To bathe in the bathhouse," he said. "Is that really a mitzvah?" they wondered aloud. He said, "Of course, think about it. Statues of kings are placed in theaters and stadiums. The officials appointed to care for them wash and polish them regularly. They get paid for it, and they're honored for it. They move in the circles of nobility. Now, if that's how we treat lifeless images made in honor of human kings, how much more so with me, a human being who was fashioned in the divine image and likeness, as it is written, for in the image of God he made the human."
It's an amazing thing. How does he look at himself? It's not that I'm, practicing good hygiene because whatever, I don't like smelling bad or not looking good. I represent God. I have a responsibility. It's a mitzvah for me to represent, to wear the part properly. Let's do a little bit more over here. Thank you, Karen. And Janet, text 12a and 12b. This from the Talmud and from Rashi's commentary. Let's go for it.
Okay. It was taught a person should wash their face, hands, and feet each day in honor of their Creator. As it is written, everything God made, he made for his own sake. Proverbs 16:4. And in honor of their Creator, meaning to honor the one who made them, as it says, for in the image of God he made the human being. And when others see a beautiful person, they're inspired to say, blessed is the one who has such beauty in his creation.
If you represent God, you need to look the part. You're not a private individual that whatever I could do whatever I want. You can't help it. You're born in royalty. You have the divine image. You're a Jew. When people look at you, you represent something. It's actually, I didn't realize this as a child, but as an adult, I started realizing this. The way that my parents would tell me, both my parents, to stop dressing like a schlump and to look a little bit more menschlich, is they would say, you're a Jew and you're a shliach, you represent Judaism, tuck yourself in, you gotta look good. They didn't say, you're dressing too trashy. They would give it a certain religious spin on it. And it's actually beautiful education. You represent something. You have to be a little bit more careful. Somebody else, they don't represent this. They're not the royal family. So it doesn't matter. But you carry a certain message. You carry a certain identity. You got to express it properly. You have a certain responsibility. Let's do a little bit more. I don't know. I'm blanking out of names over here. Richard. I'm so tired over here. Richard. Right. I don't know what's going on over here. Literally all of your names are just starting to, I don't know why. Richard. Text 13a, page 173. From the Torah. And you're also going to do the next text with Rashi.
All right. Children's responsibilities. You are a child of your God. Do not cut yourself nor tear out the hair of your head for the dead. For you are holy people to your God, and he has chosen you to be his treasured people from among all the nations on the face of the earth. Do not eat any sustainable thing.
Okay. This is a verse from Deuteronomy. We have a few mitzvahs over here. Number one, you're not allowed to cut yourself, no self-harm. You're not allowed to tear out the hair of your head for the dead. So there were civilizations that the way they would mourn is that they would cry over the grave or over the casket of their, pull out their hair. That was a way of showing that you're pained. Torah says you're not allowed to do that. And do not eat anything that God holds detestable. If God says this is not good, you don't eat it. So you can look at it, so God's just controlling me, don't do this, don't do that. Wow. That's a pain, right? God's just controlling my whole life. But then you have to see, how does God frame it? Why does God tell us to do these things? So Richard,
Yes.
text 13b.
Do not cut yourself. Do not make cuts or incisions in your flesh to mourn for the dead, as the Hematites do. Because you are the children of God, it is appropriate for you to be dignified and handsome and not wounded or with your hair torn out.
Look at that. Judaism is telling us like this. We don't have rules. We don't have standards. We don't act a certain way. And if in order to gain a certain status, you are the status. You have the status. This is you. Everything is facilitated to help bring out what you already have. So, dear friends, Judaism is flipping the script on us. It's not telling us that to be a good Jew is something which we need to earn. You have it. Every Jew is a good Jew. You're alive, you're breathing, you're a special, of infinite value human being, Jew, you are beloved. The Torah is not designed to give us salvation. Do this and then, okay, go to heaven. You avoid hell. It's rather the code that helps us. I am special, but how can I manifest that specialness? How can I express it? How can I have such power and actually utilize it? That my life is reflective of that core truth. I am not doing anything that is changing who I am. Whatever I do is actually being who I am. It's being more true of myself. So, dear friends, with this I want to conclude the course. With this thought. In today's world, people think the more freedoms, the more happier everybody's going to be. And I think we've had enough decades to determine that didn't work out. Doesn't make anybody happier. Government needs to give us freedoms. But for ourselves, freedoms is not what gives us happiness. What gives us freedoms is knowing that we have a purpose and leaning into that purpose. How can I build a life that is designed and that focuses on expressing the purpose that I have? I'm a Jew. I'm royalty. What are the things that I could do that express the power of my soul? And that's what the Torah is. So really what Judaism says, stop looking for meaning. You already have the meaning. Start looking for how to live your life in line with that meaning, which is why we need to study Torah. Torah study is unbelievably important, because if not, we're out of touch with the royalty of being a Jew, with the meaning that we carry within us. The purpose is already there. And we need to do mitzvahs. A mitzvah allows our beauty to shine. It's not us doing something different, changing something about us. It's allowing the core us to shine. And dear friends, with that I want to show you a video, conclude the course, and then I want to show you a bonus video. All right, you ready for a bonus video? Okay, I'm going to put this over here. We act with dignity, not to become important, but because we already are. All right, Richard, you want to get the lights? There we go. Thank you, Richard. Let's do both lights.
Hello, thank you for calling Life Tech Support. How may I help you find fulfillment in life today?
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I've done all the things, checked all the boxes, so why does it feel like something's still missing?
No problem. We'll troubleshoot together. Before we dive in, could you share your screen so we can look at the settings?
Oh, sure. Sure, I could do that.
Perfect. Which boxes did you check?
Yeah, the fulfillment boxes, you know, good job, cozy home, lots of gadgets, regular vacations, restaurants, all the things that, you know, should make me feel that my life is truly full.
I see. There's more than that on a different list. That's exactly why we're here. Ready to dive in?
Well, yeah, I hope so.
Step 1, have you synced your actions with your purpose?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, I try. Actually, can you explain what you mean in less, you know, technical terms?
System shows sync incomplete. Let me clarify. This step means discovering your purpose in this world and living your life accordingly.
Well, that sounds like a lot. Now, how do I even know what my purpose is?
Not to worry, we'll break it down. Step 2, have you checked your source code?
Source code? I can barely remember my Amazon password, and to be honest, I didn't even know I had a source code.
Very common. Most people skip that step. I'm talking about the divine code, the Torah, life's ultimate operating system.
I guess I really should check that out.
That's right. On to the next step. Step 3. Have you activated a deeper awareness for daily tasks?
Daily tasks, like folding laundry and making coffee?
That's right. Every action, even the most mundane, can run in purpose mode. Otherwise, it's just a background act draining your spiritual energy.
So making coffee is a mitzvah?
Not exactly, but you can aim it toward a mitzvah, like staying alert for morning prayers or being an attentive husband and dad. And speaking of daily rhythm, that brings us to step 4. Is your time set to spiritual standard?
Well, my time? Well, look, I'm usually late. Does that count?
Not quite. Each day, each week, each month, each holiday, and even your birthday carries unique meaning. Open the calendar and then go to spiritual standard to turn on the day's unique energy. Once you're in sync with sacred time, the next challenge is what happens at times when you're thrown a curveball. That takes us to step 5. Have you installed the updates for unexpected events?
Oh, don't remind me. I still haven't recovered from 2020.
Yes, that was a major update. When plans go haywire, it's not a mistake. It's a system tweak for your soul's mission.
Really?
Absolutely. Look for the clues hidden in those changes.
Okay, but even if I do all that, will it work? To be honest, I'm not even sure that I matter.
That one's in your default settings. You matter. Always. No reinstall needed, not even a minor fix needed. You're good to go in that area.
What are my default settings?
Let's see. Checking imaging. You were created in the divine image, a reflection of God himself. And now checking cosmic weight. Yep, it's right there. Every one of your actions, even the smallest, carries enormous impact. Finally, checking individual ID. Yep, just as I thought, you are actually irreplaceable.
Well, thank you. I've got a lot to work on, but, at least now I know where to look, where I'm going, and why.
Exactly. Read the manual, the divine code, and if you ever get stuck, call back anytime. Thank you for calling Live Tech Support. Have a meaningful day.
All right, dear friends. With that, I want to officially conclude today's course. Yeah, you turn the lights. I want to show you one more video still. But I want to wish all of you a happy Hanukkah. And we should carry the meaning of this course that we've learned forward with us to live more meaningful lives, purposeful lives, with more connection. Yes.
What do you think the meaning of "in my image" means? The real depth of it. What does that mean?
It's a big answer. We'll leave it for another class.
Thank you.
Dear friends, have a wonderful night. We are wrapping up, yes? And thank you.
Thank you.
Safe drive home. Stay warm. It's pretty warm. Please join us tomorrow night at Shane Park in Birmingham for the menorah lighting. Hope you could join us 5 p.m. 5 o'clock p.m. And we'll see y'all soon. Have a happy Hanukkah. Take some donuts on your way out. It's good stuff.